The New York Mets just made a shocking move. We just got rid of a solid reliever in Rico Garcia, and fans are greatly questioning his replacement and David Stearns' decision to get rid of Garcia, which is exactly what we're going to dive into only here on Mets Digest. I'm your host today, Mike Duda. We're going to talk about Rico Garcia and this decision and its implications, but first we got to talk about some subscribers, and that being the fact that 69.9% of you that watch these videos aren't one. So please do me a favor, do us a favor here at Mets Digest, and hit that free subscribe button. That way we can bring content to you about the amazing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. And you guys know me, I like to hear from the experts a lot, and we are going to hear from the experts, starting off with John Flanagan of SNY. But first, I want to turn it to the title. Mets to DFA Rico Garcia to bring in fresh bullpen arm. But look underneath. He basically says this isn't a good move, and he admits Garcia has pitched really well. An insider, a reporter, he says Garcia has pitched well in 2 short stints with the Mets, basically questioning why are they DFAing him? Why are the Mets getting rid of him? This is not a good move. This is bad. I completely disagree with this, as let's turn it over to Flanagan. Let's hear his voice. He is, of course, from SNY, as he begins his article saying Rico Garcia has pitched well in 2 different stints with the Mets this season, but it appears he is being cut loose again for a fresh bullpen arm. Garcia is being DFA'd following Saturday's win over the Giants. According to Joel Sherman of the New York Post, the right-hander was in cleanup duty as he worked the 9th inning of Saturday's victory, and he gave up a meaningless 2-out, 2-run homer to shortstop Willy Adames. Now, we're going to head down the Sherman Ave in just a little bit, but it was a meaningless home run. It was a 12-4 game. The Mets were winning by 8 runs. They had a massive margin. He came into the game, gave up a triple, then proceeded to get 2 outs, and it looked like he might have gotten out of the inning. It was a 2-2 pitch to Adames, and he simply did his job. When you're up by 8 runs, and because this is the MLB, and runs against or run differential does not matter at all, there is no difference between a 12-6 win and a 12-4 win, besides it looking slightly better. Oh well, who cares about appearance? Just go win the ball game. The only difference between that is, of course, the 2 runs. That doesn't matter. So Garcia's sole job there is to throw a strike. He did his job. He is being DFA'd right now for simply doing his job and throwing a strike to Adames that he happened to hit over the fence. Oh well, I would have been more angry and upset if Garcia were to hit Adames with a pitch or walk him. I don't understand why it's such a problem that Garcia threw a strike and they're DFAing him because he did his job. It makes no sense. So first, let's hear simply how good he's been in the Met uniform. Well, Flanagan says, prior to that, he had allowed just 1 earned run and 3 hits across 4 strong appearances since making his return to the organization. Overall, Garcia has pitched to a 2.13 ERA and 0.71 whip as a Met. Those stats were even better before he gave up his first earned run. His whip was at 0.26. He has been phenomenal this year for the Mets. He has been such a bright spot in a bullpen that has really not been that good. I know we just revamped and got 3 really good relievers, but still, he deserves to be in that bullpen. He has earned his spot, and I say that especially because of what is to come. Stay tuned for that to hear what most likely will be the corresponding moves, although we do not have one official yet. Now, this isn't the first time that Garcia has been DFA'd. Flanagan says the last time he was DFA'd, he ended up being scooped up relatively quickly, meaning he's good and other teams wanted him, by the Yankees. But he was let go after 1 bad outing and returned to the Mets. That bad outing, he went 2 2/3, gave up 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks, actually had a negative 0.1 WAR. He pitched so poorly that his WAR went down with the Yankees, but then he returned to the Mets, and with New York parting ways again, they open up a spot on the 40-man and active roster, and I'm pretty sure this is going to go to Paul Blackburn or Huascar Brazoban, but more to come on that in just a little bit. The problem is, you just DFA'd him. Now, any team in professional baseball can claim him off of waivers, as we'll turn it back to the experts going to MLB Glossary, actually, who's going to dive into the technical definition of the DFA. They say when a player's contract is designated for assignment, often abbreviated DFA, the player is immediately removed from his club's 40-man roster with 7 days of the transaction, had been 10 days previously. The player can either be traded or placed on outright and unconditional release waivers. If the player is claimed off waivers by another club, which every team has the opportunity besides the Mets to do right now, all other 29 teams, he is immediately added to that team's 40-man roster. At which point, he can be optioned to the minor leagues if he has a minor league option remaining. He does not. The Mets would have simply optioned him back down, so they couldn't. They were forced to DFA him, or assigned to his new team's 26-man roster. So, very simply, if over the next week, one other MLB team thinks that Garcia can make an impact on their team, they will pick him up off of waivers, and he will no longer be a Met, and he's going to that other team, whatever it may be, the Rockies, I don't know, the Cardinals, the Orioles, whatever it is. He could be going to another team like he did earlier with the Yankees. We heard that from Flanagan. He went to the Yankees because he was DFA'd, and now he's DFA'd again. He could go back to the Yankees. Who knows? However, players with more than 5 years of Major League service time can reject an assignment to the minor leagues. That's what he'll do. And players with more than 3 years of Major League service time or who have been previously outrighted may reject the outright assignment in favor of free agency in lieu of the assignment. So if he's not happy with some of the other teams that he's going to, or maybe he's not happy that he was outrighted, he was sent to an outright assignment, DFA'd, he could just become a free agent. Then the Mets do have the opportunity to pick him back up, but they might not. If the player clears unconditional release waivers, he is unconditionally released. So basically, moral of the story, any of the remaining MLB teams besides the New York Mets can pick up Rico Garcia right now. As let's go back down that Sherman Avenue real quick. Of course, he breaks it saying that Rico Garcia is being DFA'd, but then he says hearing Mets felt they needed a fresh arm for pen coverage, and this is not a move to start the clock with a top prospect like Nolan McLean to try in relief. So they're not even DFAing him for one of the prospects like McLean or like Brandon Sproat. Nope, they are not bringing up Nolan McLean, who has been really, really good of late, including some good numbers here in AAA. He had an ERA that was around 2.5 after being promoted from AA earlier this year, relatively early in the season. He had about a 2.5 ERA, had one bad start, and then the ERA spiked a little bit, but it's coming back down. It's around a 3. He's pitched well. So has Brandon Sproat. I don't understand this. This makes no sense. Sproat had an ERA above 6. He's down to a 4 ERA. He has been pitching well. But no, Stearns DFA'd Garcia not for Sproat, not for McLean, but for probably one of two guys. So let's quickly take a look here at Garcia's numbers. Now that 3.52 ERA is majorly spiked because he hadn't pitched well for the Yankees in his one appearance. Keep in mind, his real ERA for the Mets, as I would say for the Mets, that being the real ERA, the ERA we're concerned with, how did he pitch for the Mets? It was slightly above a 2. You heard that from Flanagan earlier, and there are two guys that I mentioned earlier that will probably replace him. Either it's going to be Paul Blackburn, who is back from his rehab assignment. He pitched a couple of days ago. He pitched well, and now he is back and can pitch again, or Huascar Brasman is coming back. Here's Paul Blackburn's stats. Really, really bad. A 7.71 ERA, whip near 2 in 18 2/3. Not good at all. Not a very good career either. Nearly a 5 ERA. Or how about Huascar Brasman, who was great to start the year and now has spiked to a 3.83 ERA. In fact, he had over a 10 ERA over the past 2 weeks that he was in Major League Baseball before getting demoted to AAA. I mean, this is very simple. Look at him compared to Paul Blackburn. Obviously, the numbers are better for Rico Garcia. Oh, well, he has one less save and started some less games and has pitched less innings. Who cares? The ERA is substantially better. The Ks are better. The K percentage. The walk rate is better. Everything is better. The WAR is better. Paul Blackburn has a negative 0.6 WAR. Why? Why would you bring him back? No. I get it. David Stearns couldn't find a trade partner. They wanted to get rid of him at the trade deadline. So now why are you DFAing a good reliever because you have to bring back Paul Blackburn? DFA Blackburn. Who cares? Send him down to AAA. Let him go to free agency. I'm not going to lose sleep if they get rid of Paul Blackburn. But now I'm pretty fed up that they got rid of Garcia. He was a solid reliever. He was a reliable reliever, and you just got rid of him. Look at this. Look at him compared to Huascar Brasman. Hey, the ERA's better. The whip is better. He strikes out more players percentage-wise. He walks less players. He has a better WAR in substantially less innings and less games pitched. Why? Why are you doing this? He's better than both of these players. Huascar Brasman is not better than Rico Garcia. Paul Blackburn is not better than Rico Garcia. This was a terrible move by David Stearns because Garcia is probably going elsewhere, and when he pitches well elsewhere, he is not returning to the Mets. So go down there in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Are you as fed up with the move as I am? I personally really dislike this move to DFA Rico Garcia because knowing the Mets, I know this is going to backfire on them. I hope it doesn't, but I feel like it will. So let me know if you agree or disagree down below. But unfortunately, this is all the time I have for you in today's update video. Thank you so much always for watching, and let's go Mets.